Hello everyone, introduce me. I am Eliona Arashi. Today I'm going to give a presentation about my idea for overcoming loneliness. I named this idea Nuka and L Adventure. Without further ado, let's start today's presentation. During the pandemic, people required the world's citizens to stay at home, making human beings as social beings unable to interact directly for a while. A pandemic caused a sense of loneliness experienced by some people. Not only because of the pandemic, but humans have experienced a sense of loneliness for decades. This study aims to examine the leading cause of loneliness experienced by the community and find solution to the problem of loneliness through the application of visual communication design science. Through this research, it is expected that people, especially those in age range of adolescence to adulthood, can be helped overcome the feeling of loneliness and prevent the level of depression caused by loneliness decrease in Indonesia. The research method used in this research is design thinking method. This method is known as a comprehensive thought process that concentrates on creating solutions that begin with a circle of empathy for a particular human-centered need towards a sustainable innovation based on the needs of its user. First stage, empathize. Data collection is carried out through reading books on physiology and news about mental health. The second stage is divine. The main problem is the topic of this research is loneliness. There are several problems that cause loneliness, such as a person who has no close friend. Second, it is because of the personality. And third, a trauma in the past that caused a person to fear connecting with others. The third stage is ideate. This idea was chosen because illustration can represent emotions, affection, appreciation visually so that the audience can see and feel the emotion of an image. At the same time, the story was added to clarify the intent of the illustration. Comic strip will be uploaded on Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest on social media accounts. Through comic strips spread on social media is expected to reach people who feel lonely, who need help indirectly. After prototype is done, the comic strip will be processed on trial and error to community. Based on the design thinking method, the prototype made is an illustration package in the form of comic strip. Comic strips are based on research related to loneliness. The characteristics in this comic strip are the alter egos of the creator. This prototype comic strip is called Nuka ML Adventures. The character in this comic strip are named Nuka and L. The name Nuka is derived from words Luka in Indonesian and L from the maker's name, Eliona. Both characters are born based on the creator's personal experience after experiencing heartbreak and feeling lonely in the early days of separation. This character has been created in November 2020 and remade in January 2021. Elle is a little girl who has no friends. She has a moody nature and has a lot of fear in her. Elle wears a maroon sleeveless dress to symbolize blood and wound or pain she has been through. Elle's character is portrayed as not having many expressions and being fat-faced. Nuka is a monster of imagination created by Elle because of the loneliness she experienced. Nuka was born of a sense of loneliness, fear, and worry. Nuka's fur is snow white, which means Nuka is expected to cure Elle's many injuries. Nuka himself is described as large in stature and of great appearance because he aims to protect Elle. This comic strip will contain Elle's daily story in the face of loneliness and worry. And Nuka helped overcome impact in 4 panels or using Instagram slide feature. The story will be light and not too heavily read so that everyone can enjoy the story. For Nuka and Elle, there are several key visuals that make them recognizable. Color. Color has an essential role in life. but it's not uncommon for us to forget its meaning and function by assuming the color is just an ornament. A color is a form of visual stimuli that has an effect that can affect our thoughts and action. The result can be as positive as calm or unfavorable, like gripping. Color is often used to reflect a certain sense. Besides, color is also often to remember and imply meaning that wants to be conveyed, can represent age, mood, personality, certain social status, sexual orientation, and gender, and can be a clue of time. Color selection applied to comic Nuka and L are colors that physiologically influence the reader. In physiology, color strongly affects human moods and emotion, making the atmosphere hot or cold, provocative or sympathetic, exciting or calming. Typography on comic strips, of course, also notice. Typography is arranging letters to be read but still has design value. The font used are sans serif and decorative handwriting fonts. Sans serif font has a characteristic without hooks and has almost the same font thickness, looks greener, modern, and attractive. Sans serif can represent a feeling of sensitivity to a thing. This font can also give a fun impression if the use is appropriate. While the use of decorative handwriting fonts gives Nuka and L comic strips a more decisive personality. The font used in this comic strip is Coco Goose for the titles and Space Kid for the story content. The style of image in this comic strip use flat art combined with a shadow to impress more alive, using isometric design style, which is a method of creating 3D objects in 2D techniques. So even though using flat art style, illustration in this comic strip will provide a variety of point of view that are not boring. The depiction of the place in the illustration will mostly take place in a small room as representation of bulkhead that gives the effect of tightness when a person feels lonely. As you can see, this is the prototype for Nuka and L comic strip. Loneliness can be felt by anyone, from children to adults. The amount of physical closeness cannot measure loneliness. People can feel lonely even in the crowd and not feel lonely even alone. However, loneliness occurs when the individual faces a contradiction where the number of existing relationships is smaller than accepted, and the desired intimacy has not materialized. Lonely can cause a variety of mental disorder that can affect the human physiological state, ranging from depression arising because a person does not have a close friendship in his life, social anxiety due to fear of interacting with the outside world, addiction to addictive drugs to being one of the contributing factors to obsessive compulsive disorder or OCD. Based on the study result, many people feel lonely because they do not have friends close enough to them. People who feel lonely need affection and attention from those around them. As a solution, it is made illustrations that are packed in the form of comic strip. This comic strip, titled Nuka and L Adventures, tells a story of a girl who rarely expresses. Nuka, the monster of imagination born from Elle's anxiety about her. The comic strip will be published via social media, Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest. And through this research and output, it is expected that lonely people can be helped emotionally. That's all from me. Thank you for your attention. May happiness always surround you.